Welcome to the Underrepresented in Tech podcast, where we talk about issues in underrepresentation and have difficult conversations. Underrepresented in Tech is a free database with the goal of helping people find new opportunities in WordPress and tech. Hello, Samah.
Hello, Michelle.
I haven't seen you in so long.
Same here. Oh my God, I missed you a lot last week. I felt like I lost something, like
Where's my Samah? We texted, but it wasn't the same.
no, it's never the same. We need to have this conversation 101. So
Yeah. Well, as we were talking before we started recording, we're going to get personal this session. We don't have any articles. We may find some as we go, who knows? But there's a lot happening in our worlds, and we decided that today, dear listener, I always feel like dear Abby when I say that, dear listener, that it's okay to kind of share what's going on in our own personal lives because we are women in tech, and what's happening to us is probably happening to others as well. And so, yes, this is the stripped raw, this is the bare raw episode. Not that we haven't like cried and been bare before about our own feelings, but yeah, so some of this conversation started because we have it'll be a future episode. We have a really cool article on language and how language applies in tech and yada yada yada.
yeah.
And it will be very good. But that's not where our hearts are today. So you'll have to come back for that one. But today, I've just been struggling a little bit with depression lately, and I'm on my meds and those kinds of things. So it's not my chemical depression that I usually struggle with. It's really situational depression. So I know that I'll get out of it, and I know that things will be okay. And I keep telling myself that, but like, I just don't want to do anything at night, but just sit and do crossword puzzles on my phone and watch stupid movies. And I decided yesterday that it's okay if that's what I do. Like, I built a couple Legos in the last few days just because I needed to do something besides crossword puzzles. And so I put together a couple of Legos, but following my stepfather's death, I have been kind of in a funk, I guess you could say. And then it is getting dark here before 5 o'clock in the evening now because of daylight savings time. So seasonal affective disorder has hit. When you wake up and it's dark and you're done at work, even if you work from home, right? Like, I sit here, I'm not done from work. I look out the window and it's dark outside already. And it's like, there's just not enough daylight. And the daylight that's here right now is very overcast. So, and then we had this little thing called an election in the United States, which is very scary, very disconcerting. And I'm sure that, when we talk about this, we'll have a lot of right-wing people coming in and saying how wrong I am. But I posted something both on Twitter and on Facebook about it, saying, that I've always been afraid as a woman in the United States, right? And we talked about things that have happened to both of us in the past, so people know what's happened to me. If they want to, they can ask. But it's been scary to live as a woman alone. People ask me, why don't you I turn my air conditioner on at night, even when it's not that hot out, instead of just opening a window. But I live on the first floor. If I open a window, then I'm exposed to people who want to walk by and just come in through my window because it's right there on ground level. So there are things that I just can't do as a single woman in this world, and that's one of them. But under our new administration coming in January, it's bound to get worse because we've talked about women's reproductive health before. It's going to be worse. We've talked about some of the crazy cat lady theory, and our new vice president thinks that if you don't have children, you shouldn't be able to vote. You shouldn't, because you don't have a stake in the future. No matter the fact that my future could still be like 30 or 40 years, right? So, and that that this project 2025, and I haven't read the whole thing, I must admit that, but I've seen excerpts of it. There's things in there that would the mass deportations of people that I love, including people who are naturalized citizens, to denaturalize them and send them home, right? So like that doesn't. It's very,
doesn't make
very
sense. Yeah.
It doesn't, and it's very upsetting. And so I posted that I was even more terrified now. And people on Facebook, people from my childhood even taunted me in the comments. And one person that used to be a student of mine, who I was on good terms with, said, if you don't like it here, go live somewhere else. So I spent time
Yeah.
blocking people, deleting comments. Somebody from Asia, I won't say who or what country in particular, commented like 3 threads about how Trump was going to stop the war in Afghanistan or in Gaza. He was going to stop the war in Ukraine, and he, was going to do all these wonderful things. And I'm like, delete, 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 block. Like, no, you cannot put that kind of propaganda on my
Mm.
page. Go post it for yourself, kind of thing. And then I posted the same thing on Twitter, and strangers, one stranger took a screenshot of my profile picture and said that I don't have to worry about being assaulted because I'm ugly, basically, is what they said.
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
That's fine. I don't think I'm ugly, and I also know that I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine, right? But that was rude, right, for a stranger to do
Yeah.
that. And then somebody in WordPress, somebody who we didn't follow each other, but somebody whose name I know and thought was a respected person, commented, "Well, then go live someplace else." And I looked to see, and it was like I looked at his profile, and it was all Trump stuff. And several white men like responded, "How could you do that? How could you be so shitty to the kindest person in WordPress?" One person wrote. Another was like, "That's a really shitty take, dude." That kind of stuff. I just blocked him and moved on because I don't need that kind of negativity in my
Yeah.
life. But the positivity of other people commenting for me was very nice, actually. Didn't make me feel alone. But all of that to say, it's really hard to get motivated to get out of bed right now. It's really hard to get motivated. Like I went out for lunch with a friend on Saturday and brunch with a different friend on Sunday, and it was so hard to get out of bed to do those things. I'm so glad I did because once I got it out, it was great, right? But depression and anxiety can just rob you of your desire to even do the good things. And so that's
Yeah.
my reality right now. That's what I'm dealing with. And you shared some things with me through TikToks that you've shared and those kinds of things. So I know you've got things to add to that. So I'm gonna drink my coffee now and let you talk.
Yeah, for me, I understand. I'm also politically depressed, let's say that way. And I understand depression because, like, also people, it's come in stages, of course, and there's come in many shapes. Sometimes it hits you hard. It's there all of the time. But of
Mhm.
course, if someone see you're laughing, you're a smart woman, you're participating in the podcast, you're really active in WordPress, people say like, oh, this Michelle, but I mean, at the end, it is there. Everyone can face it. Of course, seasonal depression, it is there. Also here in Netherlands, I open the window and it's 8. It's still dark in the morning. I feel like, oh my God, another day, like this is how I feel. I'm
Yeah.
start from Monday saying 5 days to go to the weekend, which is a little bit sad, but
Right.
also, and all of the news, everything around the world is like, I feel like the world is really, I'm not gonna say a bad word, it's weird. It's like we're
Yeah.
going crazy. And also the women abortion rights in Europe and the States and everywhere. And because I'm coming from Italy, they always look to Europe and the States, they're gonna be so forward. They're supporting more human rights and women rights, especially. But no, that's happening. And I believe sometimes the issue with people, they don't respect each other because even if you said about Donald Trump, whatever, you're allowed to have your own opinion. And that sometimes is the United States is the land of freedom, like this is how we know it from people outside. You can say whatever you want. I can express my feelings, but without feeling attacked. Like if you say like, I don't like Donald Trump, that people should not come and attack you for it. You're sharing your
Mhm.
opinion about him. And yeah, I know. I'm also a little bit worried about, honestly, because it affects all of all of the world. And I said I'm politically depressed, and of course it's. I believe it. Women rights. Let's talk about it. And there's a lot of. I'm scared of a lot of new laws gonna sit back women in States and people of color and put them 200 300 years back because I
Mhm.
believe it just start to be steps only women and then there's going to be
Yeah.
LGBTQ plus group
Oh,
it's what's going to be next. It is, yeah.
the insane thing is people believing the rhetoric that he spreads, that kids go to school
Yeah.
in the morning and come back having had gender affirming
Yes,
surgery at lunch. I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah, yeah. This one.
if we can't afford to pay to give children breakfast, but you think we can afford to give them surgery? Like, it's
Yes.
just insane. But
Yeah.
they say those things to cover up the things that they're doing, like banning books, books that
Yeah.
matter, books that we read, books that should be read, that talk about politics, that talk about women's rights, that talk about LGBTQ rights, that talk about the rights of underserved populations, that talk about the history of Black people in the United States. They have banned those books in a lot of southern states. So you can't learn about Jim Crow laws. You can't learn about slavery. You can't learn about it. They put a twist on it to make it sound like Black people were just so happy to be in the United States. And, now they're
Yeah.
free, so they could do anything. Freeing the slaves was amazing. Absolutely. First of all, never should have been enslaved. But secondly, freeing the slaves was great. But do you think life got better just because they were free? They now had
Yeah.
no place to live. They had no food to eat. They had to find jobs that would pay them a living wage. And none of that was easy for anybody to do post-war, much less people of color. And
Yeah.
so, and the United States is still recovering from that because of our civil rights and because of the way that people view people who they consider less than them, women and and Black people and other underserved populations. So yeah, it's just sometimes it just feels like a lot.
It is a lot. And for me, as I don't know, like I just want to have 1 week off. Like I don't want to worry about anything. I want everything to be fine. I want to open the news
Yeah.
and watch they making like ads for carnival or festivals or
Yeah.
Imagine Dragons has a new song, like something like this, like something really happy or
Yeah.
flowers or whatever. It is really,
Yeah.
and it's also part of our life. And that's why we're talking today, because
Hmm.
we always focus on making our community better, but also we're human beings. Something worries me, something worries you. and and I know it's not been easy with your stepfather passing away
Yeah.
and all of this, and I understand that you are living that situation, and you're very strong, powerful woman, smart woman, and very beautiful woman. And I think sometimes that you still believe that in 2024 you still fighting or talking about why you as a woman have, in United States and other parts of the world, we have the right to do abortion or be responsible for our productive parts, or I'm allowed to do this, or I'm allowed not to have kids. I don't want to have
Yeah.
kids. Don't judge me about it.
Right.
It's really depressing because you feel like it's getting worse and worse. I think
Hmm.
also the things people now say it on social media and even TV. 5 years ago, nobody was daring to say it. 10
I
years
know.
was like, it was, oh no, you can now it's so normal to attack each other, to be this crazy things come out. And what also scares me, I saw a lot of in the tweets people or in TikTok, our favorite platform, that people start to speak up more with this hate, with women. Like, if you don't I was watching a couple of TikTok videos, a guy saying, if you don't have kids, if you don't clean the house, if you don't cook, then why you are a woman?
Hmm.
Like my reply was like, "Do you know how to build a house? Did you build a house? Did you go for a hunt to bring food? Then why are you a man?" Like, if you want to talk about this common sense, I can talk with this common sense. No, but it is,
Yeah.
how can I say? It's part of our daily life. It's affecting us mentally, physically, our life. And it's also, I know you're fighting for a better future for women, for a
Hmm.
lot of underrepresented in tech, or a lot of people all around you. And also I'm trying also to do the same. But the thing is, we're we're depressed. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
laughing about it, but because I
It's
don't know.
easier to laugh than cry sometimes, for sure.
Me, I live in denial. Like I always be, which is sad, but it's gonna be really weird podcast. No, it's the thing
We're
is
so
like
depressed. Ha 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 ha. Right? Yeah.
I think that someone will sponsor us with a
Yeah.
psychiatrist. No,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
always believe in positivity. I don't believe it's
Sure.
gonna rain all of the time, and I
Right.
don't believe it's gonna be
Sunny.
sunny
Sunny.
and shiny all day,
Right.
all time. I always try to enjoy the moment,
Hmm.
but sometimes I'm allowed myself to be
Yeah.
unhappy. I'm allowed to be just, I want to be alone, to cry, or just to be angry about something,
Hmm.
because Because I'm a human being, and as I said, the world is going really crazy. I feel like we're
Yeah,
just gonna jump to the 18th century suddenly. How? I
I
don't
know.
know. Just I feel it, and we are on the way.
And I don't know how to churn butter, so I don't want to go back there.
Me, they will throw me in the street, like I don't know, the butter or making cake from scratch. Like, oh no, not me.
No,
I know how to order.
my oven was made for frozen pizza and frozen pizza alone. I
Yeah.
know how to cook. I just don't want to. Like, I don't have to. Right. So,
Oh gosh.
you said something earlier. You said about like if people choose to be child free, but they get all this like slack about it, right? And I don't mean
Yeah.
like slack that we use to communicate. They get a lot of flack, I guess is the right word.
Hmm.
Um, when my daughter told me that she and her husband were choosing to be child free, and I may have mentioned this before, I had to take a moment for myself. After
Yeah.
she left, I was like thinking about I had pictured a future for myself with grandchildren. And so I let myself grieve that for a couple days, that Michelle that was never going to happen, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm fine with it, right? And so other people were like, "Oh, do your daughter have, you have any grandchildren?" No, they've chosen to be child free. Oh, well, mistakes could happen. People say that all the time. Mistakes could happen.
What?
She could, and I said, "Why would I want a mistake to happen to my child that doesn't want to have children?"
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I would never in a million years wish for that to happen for her, you know? But that's how you can have grandchildren. Well, I don't want grandchildren if she doesn't want grandchildren. End of story. If I marry a man, let's say in 5 years I meet somebody and I marry him and he's got kids and they have kids, I'll be very happy to be involved with his grandchildren's lives, however they would allow me to be. It's not that I don't love children, but I don't want my daughter to have to deal with something in
yeah.
her life that she doesn't want to have happen, especially when her right to choose, if she were to fall pregnant, is being taken away from her. Now we live in New York State, so unless it's a federal thing, chances are it's not going to happen here, and she will always have reproductive rights here in the states
Yeah.
or in New York State because we are a democratic state. But that's not to say that they couldn't force something federally. That's not to say that she couldn't relocate someday and be someplace where she's not as safe. And I don't want to have to worry about that for her. And I don't want to have to worry about that for other sisters that we have, whether they're blood sisters, blood children, or
Yeah.
just people we've never met. There was a TikTok. I don't know if I shared it with you. I should have, and maybe you saw it anyway. But it's these different groups of women around the world saying, American sisters, we've got your back, basically. And it's
Yeah.
like these women in the Belgium.
They were standing next to each other.
Yes,
Yeah, I
yes.
saw it. It
And
was
I
really
can't remember.
powerful
There was
one.
like four different countries and
Yeah.
conglomerates, and I don't remember who they all were. I just remember Belgium. But that made me cry happy tears because even though
Yeah.
they can't really affect a change for us, to know that people see what we're going through and have that sense of we got your back, it just feels good.
It is like I'm really shocked why we're not focusing about the salary gap, why we're not focusing about giving better education, about other things to improve everyone's life, and we're just focusing on you cannot have abortion. I was watching and I was reading about one case. There's sadly a father. He's um physically violated his daughter. She's 13, 14 years old, and
Hmm.
she gets pregnant. If one of those states, she's a child, like she
Hmm.
want to do abortion, if a doctor helped her to do the abortion, he will go to minimum, I think, 15 years in jail,
I
which
saw
is
that.
crazy. Yeah, but the father, he only can go to maximum 3 years in jail. I found that a little bit crazy. It's like she's a child, but how can you? She's 14 years old. Do you think that she will love the child? Do you think that this mother will give a birth and the kids will grow to be very feeling loved and give back to the community and be a happy
Hmm.
kid? He will not. He will not be
Right.
happy because she herself, 14, she doesn't understand the whole situation. And honestly, and also those creeps, I don't know if I'm using a nice word, those creeps who's coming out also in social media talking like, women, I find it very, 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 how can I say, backwards. I don't know where we're going.
Yep.
And I feel and understand that uh, 5 years ago, British, you as a woman was like fighting for salary equality. You were talking about more women in tech. They should be more involving. But now we're just talking about what is my right abortion. Please let
Hmm.
someone who is getting violated, rape, or even can
Hmm.
threaten her life. Let's have to support. And that is a little bit sad. Of course, there's a lot of countries also in Europe now. They're talking. I think Hungary was doing something crazy, but it's still. I don't know. It's very depressing um
Yeah.
end of year. I don't know, it's just like it's just to be happy, closing a chapter, year and opening.
Hmm.
No. And as the American elections, I don't know what's coming up, because I saw also who's cabinet.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god,
I
no.
know.
But
I
just,
know.
you have still 72 days. If you like to come to Netherlands, you're more than
I
welcome.
know. Well, it's funny because when I
I'd
did
love
post
to
that on
have you.
Facebook, like Shanta from Canada, she's like, "I got room for you. Come north of the border, right?" And then Verity Hines from Elementor is like, "The Netherlands is quite nice. I'll be happy to show you around."
Yeah. No, but I understand this is your country where you grow. We say it as a
Yeah.
joke. Just come quickly. You
Yeah.
have 72 days to move out of it. I don't know what's the name of the book, but there's a TV show called The Maid's Tale.
Handmaid's
The
Tale. Hmm.
Handmaid's Tale. That I feel now it's coming to happen in reality. It's going closer or closer. If someone
I,
listening and they don't know
yeah.
the series, you should go watch it. Yeah.
I read that book probably 5 times before, and I saw the
Yeah.
movie that was made in the 80s. And then,
Mm.
of course, I've watched the current Hulu series,
Yeah.
which is the final part of that series is coming in the spring, so we get to see
Yeah.
what those creators, because they've already gone past what the book did, right? So
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
we're into unknown territory. Um, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they say. It's funny that you bring that up because I was thinking, um, there's the handmaids who are fertile, so they're women who are childbearing age who are capable of having children. So anybody who's had a hysterectomy, I don't care how old you are, you're not a handmaid, right? Because you can't get pregnant.
Yeah.
Then there are the Marthas who are beyond childbearing age or can't bear children, who become the house maids, I guess, like they're the,
Yeah.
making food and cleaning and that kind of thing. And then so I was thinking, well, what would I be? I couldn't be a Martha because I can't stand and cook and clean. I'd be dead. I would be the person
Yeah.
that they would kill to get rid of me because I'm an extra mouth to feed. You would either be a handmaid or a Martha, but
I
I would
think I
be,
think I think Martha. They will take Martha because it yeah, Martha.
but I would be dead because I would never be
Yeah.
married to somebody who would be a captain in that army or something because I would never believe that way. So I would just be buried. That would be me. I would not live to see it because I would have been killed.
Yeah, and all of the government, all of the men, and all of them, they're okay with that, and women were
Mhm.
not allowed. And if women did something in the series, they cut her finger as a punishment because you cannot raise your voice. And the other one is just like she give birth, and then you give the baby, and then you move to another house to get pregnant to give another baby. I start feeling, but of course, how at the beginning of the book or the series, they tell you that people will like start to accepting, oh, all women should give birth. Oh, you're not allowed to choose. And then I don't know, maybe I'm crazy that you start feeling I'm starting to be scared. That is a horror movie for me. I love
Yeah.
horror movie, but that thing
Not,
scares
not,
me
not
to death.
reality. Yeah.
No, I don't want it to be happening for
Yeah.
any country around the world, and it's really really crazy.
So I saw, and I don't know how true it is. I'd have to go look it up, but I saw that a story about Margaret Atwood, who wrote The Handmaid's Tale, had posted something either on Twitter or some social media explaining something, and a man replied underneath, "That's not what the author meant. That's not what the author intended." She's like, "I am the author."
So- I'm the one who wrote the book.
Nothing like being mansplained your own novel to you.
Yeah, yeah. You never know. Maybe they have a new skill with X-ray, like look at you and you can understand what you're talking about
Oh
without
my
even
gosh.
explaining it.
They think so
Yeah,
anyway. They think so anyway. Yeah.
yeah.
So, well,
Now,
I guess all of this bearing our souls today and just, the reality of it, right? So like we
yeah.
get on here every week and we get our ire up about things and we show that we're angry about things and we want to see better things happen, but the reality is we are human beings, like you said. And there's a
Mm.
cat too, but I am a human being. All of a sudden, the tail in my face. We're human beings with real issues and real problems. And, sometimes we're physically sick, and sometimes we don't have the mental capacity to even think about issues, to sit in
Yeah.
front of a computer and talk about them. And so if we skip a week here or there, give us some grace, because we're dealing with stuff,
Yeah.
and life is
And
real.
yeah, and it's not easy. Sometimes it's as you said when you said waking up in the morning, it's um I know for you and for me, even my Middle East, all of it flaming with wars, living
Mm,
in Netherlands, all of this, life is not easy, and sometimes it's okay not to be okay. I learned it the
amen.
last 1 year and a half in my life, and I'm starting to take care of myself the last 1 year. Just it took me very long time to learn it. It's okay not to be okay. And if I'm tired, I'm tired. If I want
Yeah.
to do something, I want to do it.
Mhm.
And also I learned nobody will give you something. You always have to go for it. You have to ask and you have to
Mhm.
get it. And
Yeah.
sometimes if you don't want that thing, it's also okay. It's not to the end of the world. Just
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And
absolutely.
uh, and sorry for laughing that we are depressed, but I don't know. I'm laughing.
That's our reality too. That's who we are as people.
We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine.
We are. We
Yes,
are.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, well, let's end there. And I don't know what we're going to talk about next week. Might be language. It might be something else. We never know for
yeah.
sure, because we don't know what's going on in the world until we get there. But
Mhm.
thanks for sticking in with us. And if you've got similar issues, first of all, I do want to say, if you are somebody that is dealing with depression,
Yeah,
there are ways to get help, and you can call your doctor. And I can only speak for what's here in the United States, but we have mental health care hotlines. We have suicide hotlines. There's
yeah,
always somebody, even if you just have to reach out to a friend. Being here is better than not being here. So please, if you are somebody that's dealing with suicidal ideation, or, extreme thoughts of harm to yourself, please, please, at the very least, reach out to us and we could try to get you some help, because we want you here in this world with us.
definitely. And the same if you're living in Europe, always reach out. You're always gonna get help. And mental health or depression, it's a serious disease. It can also high level of stress can cause you physical disease.
Hmm.
There's no explanation, tiredness or sickness. Take care of yourself because
Yeah,
you should take care of yourself. You like, yeah.
we
I
want
don't
you
want to
here.
make it sad to say like nobody cares. You should take care of yourself, but I mean, all of us should take care of ourselves once in a while to put ourselves
Yeah.
on the top of the list instead of the bottom of the list. Yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes that means asking others to help when we need it.
Definitely, definitely.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. All right. Well, we'll see everybody next week. Bye.
Yeah. See everyone next week. Bye.
If you're interested in using our database, joining us as a guest for an episode, or just want to say hi, go to underrepresentedintech.com. See you next week.